just take a vacation because burnout isn't the real problem. It's a signal that your business is still depending on you in ways that it shouldn't. So if you've tried taking time off and that's not fixing anything, you come back and you jump into the same problems. Your team still needs you to make decisions. Maybe you had to pop in on that time off to uh, put out fires. Maybe you're not trusting that things will run well without you, and then you just feel stuck between, well, do I just keep going or something has to change? This is really hard to fix alone because you cannot see your own blind spots and you're just too close to the business. So then what happens is you just default back into old patterns.
Yeah.
What's really happening here is that you're just stuck in survival mode. You're putting out fires, you're dealing with survival challenges when the real issue is simply not getting resolved because you're so deep in that day to day, you can't see those gaps. Yet when those higher level issues are resolved and you exit survival mode, you stop carrying everything in your business. That's really when you exit burnout. And that's what we're going to talk today about, Dr. Sabrina.
Yes. Yeah. So I want to just kind of frame this up for our listeners to understand this. So there's a lot of common sense knowledge or wisdom out there around how to deal with burnout, like take time off and delegate. That is surface level information and it's not very effective. So like if you go to Chat GPT or any other like Claude or AI and you say, I'm feeling burnt out as a business owner, what should I do? Well, you're going to get some surface level band-aids thrown at you. And so when I recognized like this is such a common problem and it's the problem that we are all experiencing, but none of us see. That's why I created the Better Business, Better Life assessment to help us check in with ourselves. And by the way, you can take that assessment at tapthepotential.com/assessment. You get your burnout score, but you also are, it's an assessment of your business. And it's an assessment of the systems in your business where there are gaps that are contributing to your burnout. So that's why I wrote the 4 Week Vacation book, because this book picks up where the assessment gets you, like you identify, okay, I'm burnt out. Now what? Well, everything in the 4 Week Vacation is about the business systems to fix and the right order to do it in, which is what we lay out in the Tap the Potential solution. And the assessment shows you which gaps you have within the Tap the Potential solution. So when you start working with us in our Better Business, Better Life program, we know exactly, Melissa knows exactly where to dig in with you around these are the systems that have the greatest impact on the business health and profitability and your well being. So your level of burnout will start dropping as the business gets healthier. And that's what's really fascinating is as we get these businesses healthier, more efficient for with time, more efficient with money, so they become more profitable, the business owner's health skyrockets. It's just absolutely fascinating how intertwined our well being is with the health of our business. So, if you were listening in the last episode, when Melissa and I went through these common symptoms of burnout, one of the things you might have heard me say is that 8 out of 10 of us have our mood fluctuating with how the business is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's just recognize that's reality. Like we're all as entrepreneurs, we're all tuned in to how our business is doing. And let's leverage that. So let's get the business healthier, less dependent on you as the owner, and more profitable along the way. So you can start working less. And then your mood, your health is going to be better because things are going better in the business. And this really is so important right now because there's so much going on with our economy. Oil prices, who knows where they're going to be today or tomorrow, but they've been high lately. And that's having a trickle down effect. And we are anticipating that our margins are going to get slimmer and slimmer in our businesses unless we're raising prices to keep up with all the cost of living and all the different things that we're having to now pay for because oil prices are higher. So there's a lot there's the war in Iran. There's a lot of things outside our control as business
Mhm.
owners that are impacting our businesses and how we are running them. Last year's tariffs, and it's like there's always this stuff going on. We cannot control that. But when you take our Better Business, Better Life assessment and we look at the systems in your business, those are things you can directly control. They are, for us, they're easy fixes. For you, not so much because you're in the day to day. It's very hard to see the big picture. We help entrepreneurs all the time make these big changes in their business, and it's big strategic changes. It's
Mhm.
not heavy lifting. And I think that's the magic where our business clients in our Better Business, Better Life program feel like this wasn't hard. This this was actually an easy thing, but it's having such an impact on freeing up time, freeing up strain on myself and my team. And that's the strategic thinking that we
Mhm.
can really help with. So, Melissa, I want you to talk a little bit about what are some of the real solutions for burnout?
Okay, it's not AI.
No.
So AI is knowledgeable and it can give you some answers, but you have to know the right questions to ask. So don't go down the rabbit hole if you're burned out of trying to figure out those higher level issues in your business through AI, because it's just not going to happen and it's going to keep you looping and get you deeper in burnout. So, um, with the amazing thing is that we do with in our Better Business Better Life program is we simplify everything. So we're looking at very high level things for you to work on in your business. And if you just do this one thing, so many more challenges or issues are just going to knock off. And we walk you through that step by step and we tell you what to prioritize first. Here's what you need to focus on right now. I worked with a business owner a couple of weeks ago, and there was just this daunting list, and it just kept going. And it was team member issues and revenue issues, and on and on and on. And if we just did one thing in her business, everything else would be resolved.
And
Just one
that's the
thing.
definition of a $10,000 an hour activity. What's the one thing I can do right now
Yeah.
from my strengths so that everything else is easier or unnecessary for myself or others?
Yeah, and you were talking about how we have to, how everything is affecting our business right now, right? So financially, yes, our businesses are affected, and we tend to cut out things that we think are fluff that we don't need. Strategic coaching is not one of those things, because when you have a strategic coach who really understands you and your business, that person is acting as your thinking partner, and they're showing up as like a member of your leadership team that most business owners don't have. Most businesses can't don't have the payroll capacity to bring in on a full-time leadership person who can think at that high level.
Yeah.
So we're there to guide them and help them prioritize and focus on what matters the most. And we are really making a ton of progress and impact every time we get together. And the beautiful thing is, we have one of our clients who has been with us for about 3 years now. It was so funny. We were in our group coaching a couple of weeks ago, and she came on the call with her challenge, the one thing that she wanted to focus on that day. And she stated the challenge. And I just looked at her with love. I didn't say a word. And she started laughing and she said, I know what the answer is. Because we've worked so well together and we have just gotten to the point that we know the next steps, right? And we are so dialed into your business. We know your business backward and forward, just like we were there beside you every day. So just imagine the comfort of having someone to support you at that capacity, and then peers who are showing up with you,
Yeah.
who give you that tough love and validate you at the same time, and then say, well, you know, I had that situation come up before, and this is what helped me or worked with me. And sometimes we just simply cry together.
Yeah. It is such an incredible experience for us business owners because we feel like we've been dealing with all this alone and no one understands us. And when you're in our program, in the Better Business, Better Life program, all of a sudden you're surrounded by people who totally understand you, who are walking the same challenges and can completely relate. And
Yes.
I just want to, I want you to start wrapping your head around the results we deliver. And I want you to imagine yourself as I'm describing these results, I want you to imagine yourself in this. Okay.
Mm,
So within less than 12 months, our clients are experiencing over a 700% increase in time off.
mm,
So, 7 times more time off. What would your life be like if you had that much more time off? Like, what would you not be doing? And what would you be doing instead? Would you be resting? Would you be sleeping in sometimes? Would you be going to lunch with your spouse? Would you be showing up at your kids' school and doing something fun with your kids after school? You'd have the weekends free. So that's one result. And then our clients are experiencing a doubling of their profit in less than 12 months' time.
mhm,
So you're working less, but your profit's going up. That's a good thing. Who doesn't want that? And then a 55% increase in owner's pay. So, what you're actually paying yourself. So, your paycheck, you have more disposable income into
mm,
your household because of what you're experiencing and what you're shifting in your business with our guidance in the Better Business, Better Life program.
mm,
So if you're listening and you listened to the last episode and you're hearing us go through all these symptoms of burnout and you're going like, yeah, that's me. It's like they're reading my mail. Why are you still doing this alone? Like,
mm,
why have you not taken that assessment and gotten on a call with Caitlin and looked at getting into our program? Why wouldn't you invest in yourself in that way? You're worth it. Your family will be so appreciative with this
mm,
new you that shows up 11 months from now. And your kids will comment. We have kids and spouses all the time commenting, thank you so much for what you did for my mom or dad or my husband or my wife, because they are a better person now because of what they've done with Tap the Potential. So when you're thinking, oh, I don't know, the money is tight, we don't have hardly any extra funds, we're negative this month, stop it.
mhm.
Invest in yourself and let yourself experience what's on the other side of having this support.
Oh yeah. We've had our Jumpstart workshop last week where we were sharing all about the Better Business, Better Life program. And one of our clients, Brian, came on and he said, it's like having family. I
Yeah.
consider Tap the Potential my family.
Healthy
And
family, not dysfunctional family. We always need to clarify that with family.
and this morning, I actually got on a call with one of our clients who's now graduated, and we just had a coffee chat. And
Mhm.
she said, this is my win today, just having time with you to have coffee. And we connected and we talked about things that she's doing. And it felt so good.
Yeah.
So get off that alone island and find your people. And if you're looking for people who celebrate just being a gift from our gifts and really showing up with integrity and wanting to do better, right? And lead with love. That's us. Those are some of our core immutable laws. Come and hang out with us. And you don't have to do it alone. And it is impossible to get out of burnout by yourself.
You cannot do this by yourself. Your energy and your ability to see things clearly diminishes the longer
Mm,
you're in burnout. And the other thing is don't wait too long. A lot of us say, well, I'll do that next month. Things will settle down next month, or 6 months from now something is going to be different. I will tell you, nothing gets better if you don't do anything different.
mm,
You get more of the same, and it's your capacity for handling more of the same is diminishing. So even if everything stayed the same, the impact on you gets greater and greater and greater, and your ability to sustain gets more and more small.
Hmm. What is one of the biggest, I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm asking you to think back over 20 years. What is one of the biggest examples that you can recall of someone coming out of burnout?
Oh, I remember one of our clients coming in, and it was, we were really like the emergency room. She was like, this business is hanging by a thread. I'm hanging by a thread. She had huge debt, and she had monthly automatic withdrawals coming out of her bank account to pay the debt service.
Mm.
And the pressure on her was so great. Like, we were really concerned about her, and she was very young. We were worried she was going to have a heart attack.
Wow.
And she started working with us, and she wanted just the band-aid fix. She was like, I can't afford the Better Business Better Life program. Just let me pay for something, and you guys just tell me what to do right now. And we drew the line in the sand, and we said, we refuse to do that
Mm.
because we will not be serving you. So that was some of that tough love. And she said, all right, I'll do the program. And she came in, and within a month's time, we had helped her start paying down the debt and creating the margin in the business where she actually had the money to pay down that debt. But we were able to look at what she was doing in the business that she did not enjoy doing. 90% of her time in the business was things she didn't enjoy. And
Mm.
so that, just recognizing that, like, oh my gosh, I am working out of my Achilles heel 90% of the time. And the 10% that I enjoy, I don't have time to do that. And by the time I get around to doing it, I have no energy to even enjoy it if I wanted to enjoy it. So we started shrinking the 90%. Some of it wasn't necessary, it wasn't revenue generating, it was actually creating revenue that was not profitable. So it was sucking away profit. So when
Mm.
she recognized that with our help to see it strategically, because she wasn't able to think strategically because she was so burnt out, once she could see it strategically, that she could just stop doing this. And even though the revenue would go down, her profit was actually going to go up. So her ability to pay down that debt comfortably every week,
Mm.
she had more and more capacity for that financially, which took stress off of her, reduce that burden, that pressure of, I've got to make these payments every week. That pressure started to come off. And as that pressure came off, she could think more strategically. And then we would ask questions about the results she was getting for her clients.
Mm.
And she had massive data on these amazing results she was getting for her clients, but she had never articulated it and figured out how to put it in her marketing flow so that her prospects were being exposed to that before they got on a sales call with her. So once we helped her do that, then she was going to sales calls, and she was having a lot more success in closing people very quickly. So instead of taking 6 months to close people, she was closing them in one call. So she was getting these one call closes. So that reduced a lot of financial pressure on her too. And then we said, okay, so now you're getting easy yeses. It's time to go up on your fees. And this is like 6 weeks into the coaching with us. So just imagine, like, she's getting rid of 90% of what she doesn't like doing. We're showing her how to close sales more quickly. And now we're telling her, because you're closing sales so easily, it's time to go up on your fees. So that profitable revenue is starting to stack up.
Wow.
So that's where she had the ability to start paying herself more. So this is like within 2 months of working with us. This is what started to happen. And then we just built from there, because then we started looking at the sweet spot of the business and getting clarity around that and seeing what types of clients were the best kinds of clients. So we helped her get better and better clients that were more fun for her to work with. And then we helped her with her hiring so she could hire a team to work with these fun clients. And so she could cherry pick the pieces of the work she wanted to do. So this is like, that's the transformation that happened with us. With less than a year's time, she paid off that debt,
Wow.
and she's gone on to have an incredible life. She bought a home, she's remarried, she's living a good life. I see her social media and I'm like, you go, girl. But this is what it's about. And you can feel like where she was, it felt hopeless.
Mm.
But just having someone who we've been working with business owners over 20 years. So we know all the patterns, we know where to look, we know the questions to ask. So what feels hard to you is easy peasy for us. Like we can get in there and just help you figure it out, tell you your $10,000 an hour activity that Melissa tells you on your action plan. Like, here's what to focus on. And then every 2 weeks in our Better Business, Better Life program, you're coming, you're talking about what's going on, you're getting support from your peers and more guidance from Melissa. And you just keep making positive changes, and the wins start to stack on each other.
I am so glad I asked you that question because this is what we do every day.
Yeah.
And I'm in like the day to day with our business owners, right? And we're doing all these things. But when you share it, Dr. Sabrina, as a story, it's
Yeah.
fascinating to hear it laid out in that manner. Because we're doing one thing at a time, right? We're
Yes.
simple, slow, one thing at a, well, doesn't sound very slow, but we're doing one thing at a time together. But the way that you just described it is exactly how we show up and what we do. So I am so thankful that I asked you that question. Um,
It's the small steps forward taken in a consistent direction that lead to big change in a relatively short period of time. But it's knowing what step to do when and taking it in the consistent direction that has the impact.
mm, okay. Thank you for that reminder. So your step today is to book a call with Caitlin.
Yep.
And that's just your step. Hop on a call with her, go to tapthepotential.com. That's all you need to do. Book a call. And she will just talk to you and talk to you about what's happening in your business and what you need to be focused on as your $10,000 an hour activities and how we might best support you.
Just imagine like if we could come through your earbuds or through your screen and hold a hand out, like grab our hand, come on, we got this with you. You don't have to do this alone.
That's right. We've got you. All right. Go book your call today. Thank you for tuning in to the Profit by Design podcast. We will see you next